Good morning, afternoon, or evening, anime enthusiasts, and welcome to the Hidden Online Podcast. This is Callie.
And this is Quinn, here to help you embark on a journey through the latest and greatest in the anime world.
From shonen showdowns to slices of life, we try to cover it all.
We are your fellow anime aficionados, bringing you the latest buzz from the anime sphere, and we thank you for joining us in our adventure.
Hello, are we here?
Good afternoon, sir.
How we doing?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. Still recovering from some core injuries, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm super excited because I found out that before we jump into it, let's jump into the news.
Yes, yeah. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I don't want to get into the fitness yet. So it's so hard. There's two things I want to talk about. So one of them I'm going to say first because the second one I'm more excited about. So the first one is One Piece's Zoro. They announced that there is going to be a prequel manga novel coming out for Zoro's past story.
Nice.
Which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
And I'm hoping that if it takes off and people love it, it'll get the same treatment that Minato just got with Naruto because we're about to get a Minato past arc, basically.
Nice. Is the Zoro side arc, is that going to be after One Piece ends, or is it coming out soon?
No, I don't think it's going to be after One Piece ends. They didn't have a specific release date. They just had like an announcement, like, "Hey, we are working on this." And it's actually being written by one of the writers who wrote a lot of the Naruto light novels as well. Some of the side stories that haven't been animated, but it's exciting because I think that if people enjoy it, we could get a really cool side anime out of One Piece, which would just motivate me and you more to finally finish the sucker.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
But aside from that, the thing I'm most excited about, unfortunately, you have not watched this yet, but I highly recommend you do because it's only one season out right now. Berserk announced that they are finally coming out with the next arc after the Golden Age. Berserk Black Swordsman arc.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I have not. I don't even know anything about Berserk.
You would love it. It's the darkest anime I think I've ever watched, hands down. But it's supposed to air next summer, 2025. And you should check out the trailer and maybe even So there's two options to watch the Golden Age arc. You can either watch the 12 episode broken up series on Crunchyroll, or you can watch, they turned that one season basically into 3 separate movies. So if you sit down, you can watch them in 3 separate installment movies.
Oh, that's cool. I feel like Berserk was one that a lot of people prefer the manga, or at least a lot of people really like the manga.
Yeah, you could definitely say a lot of people prefer the manga because everything that's been released up to, aside from the Golden Age arc, aside from what's the biggest anime for them right now, all the previous anime adaptations of the manga, people were pretty disappointed with. They weren't very happy with him. So people definitely prefer the manga. However, it's difficult for people to jump on Berserk because when I say it's the darkest anime I've ever watched, it's the only anime that I've ever seen on Crunchyroll that when you go to it, it is rated mature and it has a giant orange M on it to let you know that it's rated
kids.
mature. Yep, no children.
Yep.
So that's all the news today, though. I don't know if you have anything yourself, if you've heard anything.
I have not. Not really, at least. I've just been trying to keep up with all the episodes we're about to get into. All right, which one do you want to review first?
I would say Dealer's Choice. I was going to go with GoGo, but to be honest, there's at least 2 fantastic episodes on this list for today, since we're going through GoGo, Kaiju, and My Hero, and Demon Slayer. I'm not sure which one. Do we want to start with the best, worst? How do we want to go?
Right. I think we start with GoGo, because out of these 4, it's still the one that I don't know all the character names. And 2, I'm still trying to feel out what's happening, which way they're going. The others seem Demon Slayer and My Hero we've had for years, so those are easy. And Kaiju is getting a lot more not easy to review, but let's just start with GoGo.
Yeah.
Because I just watched all of them within the last 2 hours. And I think we start with GoGo before I start forgetting stuff.
Gotcha. So we start off. Were you confused at the beginning of this episode? I was so confused when it first started.
Almost the beginning of every episode.
Because I was like, wait, how did we get to this like fight scene where they're in the middle fighting these other fighters? Mm-hmm. And then and I'm sitting there, I was like, did I miss something? I like paused it, went back to the other episode. Yeah. But then it cut to, and I was like, oh, it was a simulation. He was training. I was like, okay, I didn't miss something then.
We didn't, but it did feel a little confusing at first.
Yeah.
My notes on this episode, or at least my number one takeaway, is we finally got a brief description of what every Ranger color section is in charge of.
Yeah. Did you take notes on what each one of them were?
I do have them, yeah. Yep.
So just for the audience.
Yeah, like, for sure. Let me open my book. I actually wrote it down in pen today. Sitting on the couch taking notes. So we got the Pink Keeper is combat support. Green is stealth specialist. Yellow we knew was research and development. Blue was management specialist. And red is the offensive go kill you section. Which we could have guessed the red pretty easily. Yeah.
But we kind of touched on the idea of combat support when we were discussing Sakurama's sister as the Pink Keeper last episode.
Did we? Okay.
Because in the wheelchair, we were like, you asked me, like, wouldn't she have been better for the yellow? Because it would have been more of like a research and development. Yeah, but now that we know that the Pink faction deals with like combat support, it does kind of fit her a little bit more.
Yeah, I thought it was cool though that we finally got some info on the departments.
Yeah, so we come in, they finish this like virtual training, and then they get told that this is the final exam before you move on to your next factions. And that's when we get the information about each of the factions. They say, we've gotten one of the Rangers from each of the factions to come and play villains. You're going to pair up and you're going to fight them to get their key. And then once you get their key, then you've passed the final exam. You have three days to finish it. And oh my God, was it a fight?
Yeah, it was. They completed part 1 in this episode, right?
Part 1 of what?
The 3-day.
Yes,
thing.
Yes.
Day 1, I guess.
Yeah, they completed day 1. I don't think we didn't see anybody get their key, but good Lord, did they put up a fight against each one of them? And the primary characters that we saw were from the red faction, the green faction, and the yellow faction, which was Shion. And then what was that? Give us a second. What was that? Oh yeah, can't forget Suzukiri.
Oh yeah, Suzukiri.
Suzukiri. Yeah, can't forget her.
But then we find out that Tokita is not dead.
Yeah, and Tokita's not done yet. We remember
does
him.
Have a face brace on, but
yeah, I said Shion is in the red faction, but he's not in the red faction, at least not yet. He was part of the White Rangers.
No, he seems like he wants to be though.
And then we had one from the Green Ranger who wasn't, when you first see her, you don't know that she's really from the Green Rangers. But to be honest, I think it is kind of telling when you see her weapon, when she starts using those little daggers. They kind of seem to use weapons. Yeah. So her name was Hisui, and she was scary.
She was scary. Like
genuinely
like
scary.
Type scary. They're both.
Oh, yeah.
Something else.
They both give
scarier
like,
than Tokita. He just seems like a high school bully.
Yeah. And well, both of them, Hisui and Suzukiri, kind of give off like evil dominatrix type vibes.
Makima.
Yeah. Well, would you say Makima was like, well, I wouldn't call her evil, but she definitely gave off the Dami Mami vibes for sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like yeah, Dami Mami for sure. The evil is speculatory. I think she's bad, but just because she seems like she's doing some shit. Well, who knows? We'll see. We'll see when the next chainsaw stuff comes out.
Yeah. But yeah, so our guy, Fighter D, who
Our boy.
I still love him as one of my favorite characters so far. He's a great main character.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's not great at fighting for someone whose name is Fighter D.
No, but he's clever.
He is clever. He's clever.
Like his fighting style in here was, he wasn't sure how to do it, but he started thinking his way through the problem, and he came up with some really clever ways to get around everything.
Yeah. His ability to mimic is helping him out with being clever.
Yeah, I was just about to say one of the coolest parts was how he utilized using fire extinguishers to like cloud the area and then mimic the Hisui and Tokita and make them basically fight each other, which was genius in my opinion.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, if you're not going to be good at fighting them, you can just make them fight each other.
Yeah,
it worked. Tokita, right near the end of the episode, Fighter D landed a hit on him, like kind of up across his face guard that he is wearing now. And I'm assuming he's wearing it because he got his skull fractured last time they fought each other. Yeah, pretty cool though.
God, when I saw him, I was like, God damn it, I thought he was finally dead.
Yeah, but this is going to build that up. Build up the anger towards him and then kill that motherfucker.
Yeah, but I love to, not only, we talked about a little bit of the combat cleverness, I think it was also really smart of Fighter D to utilize Shion's just kind of like lacking personality in teamwork to his advantage during that fight as well.
Yeah.
I think that shows that, like, even though he can't fight, he is outwitting everybody still. He is still doing a good job of outwitting everybody.
Yeah, I agree. It was cool. I'm curious to see what the next 2 days of this is going to look like. And if Suzukiri is going to catch on that he's not dead.
Oh, I think that Suzukiri already knows.
She does, yeah, probably. She seems like she's a lot smarter and maybe more powerful than the show is letting on right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think that she is definitely hiding her power level right now, and I think she's definitely not letting on how much she actually knows.
Yeah.
To be honest, though, aside from the fight and seeing some clever ingenuity from our main character, there wasn't a lot of like lore dump on this one. Not a lot of background, but I have a feeling that it was kind of nice to get an episode where we got a little bit more fighting, a little bit more action,
and no more questions.
Yeah, there wasn't really any like information dump where you were like, okay, this gives me 42 more questions,
Right. Yeah. I don't really have any other comments or speculation on the episode, so I could go ahead and rank it unless you got something else on it.
No, that's pretty much it for me. What did you think of the episode?
I mean, it was mid for the most part. I would say like a 5.
Yeah.
I think like right down the middle. Nothing. I mean, if anything, it would be leaning under a 5 a little bit. But
in comparison to the previous episode, what do you think this one was better or worse?
Well, it didn't. It did not add to the confusion level, so I would say better. But also just not like super excited. I thought last episode was really good because it introduced the relationship that Pink Keeper has with our boy, and our boy Sakurama, and showed the other fighter that's in the story, which that's just cool to see. Like that was like world building and more lore. But it was like, I think it was just the episode before that was super confusing. But yeah, I'm gonna go 5 out of 10. That feels pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna go a little bit higher, just a little bit, just because I do think this one was better than the at least the last episode. The last one did give us some lore drop, but I just loved the fight scenes. I thought the fights were pretty good in this one. I loved seeing Fighter D think his way out of the problem. So I'll give this one a 5.5 is where I would go.
8.
So this will be a 5.2, 5.3. We'll say 5.2 for a good measure.
Sounds good. Yeah, I am excited for next episode though, for next week.
Yeah, me too. I think that I will say I think that this will probably go on at least 1 or 2 more episodes. This final exam, or it may be finished up next episode. But I think once that's done, we're finally get to see a little bit more of the process of how people get picked, what happens.
Did you notice the little gun he had? That they called it something. It was a dragon device or I don't know the exact name.
Yeah, I did notice it, but
tool he had, he turned it into a gun. I wonder if we're going to see more like gadgets like that. Probably. It's basically like an entire twist on a Super Sentai. So I can only imagine that we're going to see more Super Sentai style weapons. Yeah, or like those the ninja tools. I've only seen a little bit of that, but in the Boruto manga I've been reading. But there's the ninja tools that they use.
Oh, nice. Oh, you've been reading the Boruto manga?
Yeah, I'm like 4 or 5.
Oh, we're going to have to get into that later.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I need something else to read so that I don't read JJK. I'm trying not to read it. But yeah, cool. Let's do Kaiju.
I'm down for that. This episode was a banger, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. No, it was awesome.
So
I think out of all the episodes today, I think this was the most fun to watch. In my opinion. I like
all of Kaiju's episodes?
No. Out of the 4 episodes today, out of GoGo, Kaiju, MHA, Demon Slayer, I had the most fun watching this episode.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think this one was the most well-rounded out of all of them, for sure. Because you got a little bit of everything in Kaiju, which I think Kaiju number 8's been doing really good about each episode, kind of giving you a little bit of everything that you would want in an episode.
They're encompassing everything and like forming it into this just like really good vibe. Like this is gonna be one of those shows after it ends a few months down the road, you're gonna get a nostalgic feeling about, man, do you remember like when Kaiju was airing week to week?
Yeah,
like, it was just fun.
Yeah, this is one thing I will say that I think Kaiju's gonna have above all the others, even though My Hero is like gonna probably get some really high scores from me this season. I think Kaiju is gonna have a more well-rounded overall score. Just week to week compared to all the other ones. My Hero would be a close second, but Demon Slayer is probably going to be down there with GoGo just because of like where Demon Slayer is heading right now. But we'll get deeper into that when we start reviewing 100%. Demon Slayer.
100%. So let's start with how cool and creepy and mushroomy that Kaiju looks. There's a Hanju, right?
Yeah, so the Hoju. The
Hoju?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was a Hoju. We can double check that real quick. Hold on.
I don't remember. Kaiju, Hanju, Hoju, Yoju, something.
So Yojus are like the little ones.
All Jews. That's what we do. No.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Hoju. It may be a Hanju, but I do know the little ones are Yojus, which were honestly more creepy. Because the big one, once Mina got out there with her big ass gun, it was we knew it was over. We knew there was no hope for this thing.
Stick, man.
Shit.
She's got the stick. I'm looking at it right now. It is the Yoju or the little ones, Hanju.
Okay.
And then there's Daikaiju, which I don't know if we've seen that.
No, I don't know if we've seen those yet either.
So yeah, the big mushroom Hanju. Sick, dude. I love the creature designs so far.
The creatures are sick.
And we're at the beginning. We're at the top of the show. We're at season 1, not even halfway through. It's gonna get so sick.
Yeah. Did you get the feeling that when you saw this? So before we get deep into it, because I want to talk a little bit about the past episode, because it does come up in this one. When we got a taste of the other Kaiju humanoid person, Kaiju number 9. Did he look like a mushroom creature to you? Because he
had the
like
weird top
creature.
hat, right? Like it looks like he has a top hat in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a feeling when I saw this like mushroom creature, I was like, that he had something to do with it. And then I was vindicated at the very end of this episode.
Said something about these didn't spawn because they found the reproductive organs. Like, how would someone know that?
So I'm jumping ahead a little bit. So maybe we could go back to the start. We were just, so massive mushroom monster kaiju comes in and starts tearing up an area, and Hoshina and the Captain Mina, they come up with a plan. They start going out there. Mina's going to come out with her big stick, like you said, which makes me think she's like really sticking to that old saying from, well, I think it was Theodore Roosevelt. It's like, speak softly, but carry a big stick.
Yes. And she was flexing too. You saw that.
Oh, yes, she was.
Didn't have to shoot those extra shots.
No, she didn't. So they get to on site. They're all excited. They're like, this is the first mission. And we get some more of that comedy. All right. That I loved. It was so funny to me. I started busting out laughing. They're all about to start the mission while they're waiting for Mina to come in with her big stick to take down this giant monster. And they're all like, okay, let's go. And they all jump off of the roof. And Kafka's the last one. He says, all right, time to
epic. The build up.
Time to do this first mission.
Good for this.
And then he climbs down.
Very clumsily crawls down the side of the building.
It's so anticlimactic, but so funny.
Well placed comedy.
Yes, very, very well placed. Well, so after that, we got to see the other more veteran officers out there complaining about these newbies, and then Kikuru comes in, and all the other ones, not even just Kikuru, but Kikuru, Iharu, and Ichikawa, all three of them come in and just impress. Yeah, just throwing hands, destroying people. Yeah. And after that, all the veterans are like, okay, maybe...
Wait a second. You just reminded me, because I didn't take a note on this, I meant to. Reno switching to the ice cartridge.
Yes, yeah.
So, I just want to, we can come back to that. I just wanted to make sure I said something.
Yeah.
It just crossed my mind. But yeah, they did. They showed up and they showed out too. And
big time.
Our girl was... I mean, she was laying them down. She's like took out a ton of them.
Yeah, that one guy said
parkour, wall running shit.
Yeah, that one vet, right at the top when they first got down there and started shooting the Yoju, he was like, we don't know what the weak spot is yet. So wait till we hear from the front line. And then Kikuro jumps on the side of the wall and just demolishes all of the Yoju in front of him. She says, okay, I'll just shoot whatever looks like a weak spot then.
Yeah. Yes, sir. She ain't playing around.
No, I'm hoping this can potentially get explained later. Do their shots get more powerful depending on how much
output, how much of the suit they
unleash combat?
I think so. I feel like it's tied together.
That would make sense because hers just seem like when she hits things, she hits them so much harder than everybody else's.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure one of the other characters during the training area, they mentioned, so that's what it looks like when you're whatever power, she was at 46% or something, somewhere in that realm. Yeah. And he made a comment on that. So I do think that there is some correlation there.
Yeah, which was wild to see.
Oh, yeah. That was sick.
But now we can actually talk a little bit more about, because we've covered Kikuru, Iharu. Iharu's basically chasing after Ichikawa the whole time because he can't keep up because we see our boy getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, but so the ice cartridge.
Yeah.
That's cool. That alone opens up what other kinds of ammunition is there that can be utilized? Also, he saw I can hit these and it slows them down and it allows me to do more.
Yeah, he said it fit his fighting style better, or at least I noticed there was a little bit difference in the translation between English to Japanese because I watched both.
Nice.
And in the Japanese translation, he did say that it fit his fighting style more, whereas in the English dub, he didn't say that specifically.
Okay.
So I thought that was not weird, but just different way of interpreting that scene. But you do raise a good question. What other kind of cartridges do they have? Do they have fire? Do they have electrical stuff? Are there Yojus, Hanjus, other types of Kaijus that have weakness to specific types of ammos? And will we see those different types of cartridges later on?
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. So. It's something I would definitely be interested to see more about in the future of the show.
Yeah. Yep. I hope that they expand on it for sure. So what kind of cartridge do you think Mina was using? Just like raw output.
She's using that Mollywop cartridge.
Yeah.
That's what she was in.
Oh, this one shots? All right. Yeah, so
she's using a
accessing-
DOA cartridge. That Dead on Arrival.
Yeah, Dead on Arrival, for sure. So she was accessing 96% output.
Mina?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
That's insane.
96%. So, yeah, you're right. So, like, after they kind of take care of a lot of the initial Yoju cutscene, we get Mina dropping in on the rooftop like a badass with a gun that's twice her size.
Yep.
And she's just picking that thing up like it's nothing. And this is actually... we were talking about well-timed comedy before. This scene is probably one of the better well-timed comedy pieces too, because like you said before, she was showing off.
She was.
She comes in,
flexing.
she shoots off the first one, almost destroys it. You see the core, it's not destroyed. She shoots off a second one. The thing is definitely down. But after that, she decides to shoot it 3 more times.
Yeah.
And the people at headquarters are like, but it's down. And she's like, give the order.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was funny.
It was.
Like, she's like, why are you asking for? Like, you seem like you're the big dog here, and you're still asking for permission. Like, give me the order so I can shoot. Like, I think you can just shoot.
Yeah, I feel like she wouldn't need
stop
to.
you.
Yeah, who's going to complain? She's in charge, anyways.
So then there was the conversation that Hoshina was having with Kafka off to the side. So
we
like
finally...
Kafka's like, so can you do that? And then we get to see the reveal with the blades and the
finally
classic,
get to see how
the unsheath sheath it again attack move. Just the quick. Yep. That was sick though.
It was sick. We didn't even see him move, and this thing was chopped into pieces.
Yeah. And said he comes from a long line of kaiju hunters. That's sick. So yeah, I now see why this character got his own side manga.
Wait, he got his own side manga?
It's called Kaiju number 8 B side.
Oh, I didn't even know he got his own.
I could totally be wrong, but I believe it's just, I don't know where in the story it falls, so I don't know if you could like read it and not be spoiled by things in the main story, but
yeah.
There is one that it focuses on Hoshina.
Okay, that's cool to know.
That is cool, yeah. Yep.
I also thought it was super interesting how he kind of explained to Kafka, he's like, don't get me wrong, she probably has more output and I wouldn't be able to do what she's doing, but I'm much more suited to take on these little guys than she is.
Yeah, like I can't do what she's doing, but she can't do what I'm doing either.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
showing that
he was flexing a little bit too.
Yeah, he was showing that power output isn't everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then we get to the Kaiju number 9.
The final reveal.
Yeah.
The final reveal of the episode where, you know what? This is one thing I will say that Kaiju has done prolifically every episode is end it to where I feel like I've been edged the whole time.
I was going to say, trying to figure out like which angle I want to take on this. Do I feel edged? I was going to say, well, that's nice. Being edged is nice, but it's not the nicest thing. Let's be real. No, it does leave you wanting more, which means the show's doing a good job. So
absolutely,
it's cool. You got that anticipation, the week to week. Like, come on Saturday, please.
Yep.
Among other reasons, will you get here sooner?
Yeah,
you gotta watch Kaiju.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but it was cool. You had Ichikawa and Iharu going to go to the Foxtrot district or the Foxtrot section or zone, whatever they were calling it. And along the way, they see this Kaiju sweeper uniform. And they're telling him, hey, didn't you hear the sirens? You're not supposed to be here. He turns his head. And what do we see? Kaiju number 9.
Yes, sir. Like started, like they could tell because you could see like the weird kaiju effects,
almost
like pustules,
yeah,
like popping out of his face. Yeah, it was sick. Good episode though.
Oh, you know what we didn't cover, and I do want to mention this because it just came up. We didn't even cover our boy Kafka using his ingenuity during the battle.
That's true.
Not even being.
Yeah, we got to give him
That's
credit.
one thing I want to highlight. So early on, when everybody else is killing Yoju and Kafka realized he just doesn't have the power to do it, he's like, let me do the best I can to help. And he goes and dissects one of the Yoju to find the core and realizes where the core is. But not only that, but that the dead Yoju have spores on them that allow them to continue to reproduce. So if they don't get rid of them, which is mentioned later on when we run into Kaiju number 9,
Yep.
where he says, I gave these things spores, but they're all destroyed. Why are they destroyed? Someone on the defense force must know about Kaiju. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, he's a very smart dude. They were able to relay the information, and Kafka helping out.
It was a good episode, and I think we hit everything I wanted to hit. I'm ready to give it a score if you are.
Hit me. Give me a score.
I'm gonna go 8.2 on this one because it had a little bit of everything.
It did.
It really did have a little bit of everything.
It did.
So
I'm not gonna go less than 8. So
yeah,
I could agree with 8.2.
cool. Then we'll round it over to 8.1, and that is the official hop score. 8.1
High score, baby. Sounds good. All right, My Hero.
Yeah, another good episode,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
Another good one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I see your first note here, and my boy Bakugo. Yes, the cluster move is sick. I actually really like the animation in this episode too. He deep fried Deku, and they left his hair so shitty looking for too many scenes. Like, give my man his hair back. But it was funny. It was good. It stuck with it. We get to see like a little baby training montage. Everyone helping each other to improve on their quirks. My boy Grape Juice is useless as ever. Was being useless, but
Oh my gosh, his name still cracks me up. Freaking
yeah. Well, I'm not calling him. His actual name is Minato, right?
yeah, I think so.
I'm
Yeah,
not doing that
Minato.
because it's too close to an actual
Minato?
gangster top character. So he's Grape Juice. He's only Grape Juice.
I do want to say I loved Bakugo's new move. Cluster seems like something that I feel like he could have figured out earlier, but it's such a cool, unique move to just like basically create like landmines around your enemy that you can detonate at any
It
time.
was sick. I mean, he caught Deku with it.
Yeah, he did because Deku wasn't ready for that heat, baby. He wasn't ready for that.
Get out of the kitchen, my boy. Get out. You're not him.
Yep. But
Okay, so gosh, this next
the
one.
biggest reveal.
Yeah,
the biggest reveal. Probably the biggest reveal that we're gonna get all season, to be honest. Was hinted at in previous season. We finally learned that there was a spy amongst everybody else in the Hero Academy, and it was one of the students, and it was none other than our naval laser user, Yuga Ayama.
Yeah. I was surprised. You know what one of the cooler things I liked from this whole scene was when he did try to attack Deku, and then our
Toru?
very, yes, I was just going to say our very like sideline character that never gets any, she just doesn't really do anything up to this point.
Yeah.
You get to see like a cool part of her quirk. It's like her body reflects light. It's like, oh, dude, sick. She's like a complete counter to you. Like that's really cool. So, and then you get to see like that translucent looking outline of her, kind of seeing what she looks like. But yeah, it was cool. I thought the reveal was good, the timing, because just before that, All For One was talking about how he has multiple different avenues to win. Right, like he's just in there, like he's like, I've been planning shit for years, for decades. Like I have all these pieces in motion, and then it shows Naval Laser. This is, he's been a sleeper for this whole time.
Actually, on that scene, I want to point out, I loved how the anime did this because it mind fucked me.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely made me think that someone else was the spy before they they told us that it was Yuga. Because that scene at the very end of the scene where All for One's talking about his different paths to his goal, at the end he's kind of talking about how he has spies, and then it cuts to a scene where you just see the silhouette of Toru and her gloves, and that the way that it cuts in the anime, you're like, oh, is she the spy?
She would be a good spy.
She would be a good spy.
Take those gloves off and nobody knows you're there.
Yeah, she would be an amazing spy. It would make so much sense if she was the spy.
I did not pick up on that. That's a really good catch there. That's cool.
When it happened, I actually paused the episode and I said, "Oh shit, there's no way she's the spy. Come on, no way." Yeah. And then it cuts and I was like, "Oh, she's not the spy, but she's the one who discovers him."
Along with that is like Naval Laser is so innocent and such a honestly useless trash can that I just wouldn't have thought that he would have been a spy either. All I can remember is in the past seasons where he's like, "Oh, my tummy hurts."
So it actually does make a little sense after he explains some when they start going into his backstory, because Deku, when he got All for One, his body wasn't built for the quirk that he got.
Okay.
And then he starts talking about how Yuga had the same problem where when he got his quirk, his body wasn't built for it. That's why he has to wear that support device on him. Yep. So it actually makes a lot of sense because Yuga told us in the past when him and Deku were talking that he had the same problem. They had the same connection because of that issue.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point.
Got hinted at a little early on, just a little bit.
Yeah.
They did a good job of burying the lead, though. I will say.
They did. So, also, I just want to make a quick note. All for One was flaming our boy Toya for having no friends. Okay, that's a little deep. Buddy. Isn't this a kid show? That's really mean.
All for One is a bully, though.
He's a bully. He's like, unlike you, I have friends. Damn, Jesus, let the man breathe.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was.
He
cool.
was
a good episode.
Really good.
Just pushing the story forward.
The only last note that I would give this episode was that we did get to see that in the end when they've taken Yuga in custody and his parents, and they're sitting there talking, trying to convince him that he can be a hero because, to be honest, like if we're looking at the character, Yuga was forced into the situation. He, you can tell that he didn't want to be a villain, but he was forced into it because of his circumstances. And our man Deku doing his cry no jutsu.
Oh my gosh, it started happening again. I thought of our last conversation as soon as his eyes started watering. If you don't get your bitch ass together.
But after using his cry no jutsu, he realizes, talking to and trying to convince Yuga that he can be a hero, he realizes that they could potentially use him to trick All for One.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to utilize his spy against him, which is kind of cool.
That's really cool. But I feel like All for One's not going to fall for that. But I like the angle that they're going to go for on it. So we'll see. We'll see next week or the week after.
Yep.
So you going high on this one?
Not as high as the last one.
Okay. Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah, definitely not, because the last one was just such a.
From you.
Yeah, it was super, super good.
I think this was a solid 7.
Yeah, I was going to give this one a 7.3 is where I'm at. Okay. It was still really, really good. And we did get a little bit of each of the characters training, got to see the cluster, got some cry scenes, which, I love a good emotional scene, but, I will say my hero is a little bit over the top with it sometimes.
100%.
But yeah, I would say like a 7.3. So we're pretty close. Is this one probably, let's say 7.1?
7.1.
Yeah. Yep.
7.1 in the books. Hop score. Official. Trademark. Something. Demon Slayer. My boy. This episode titled after my boy. Focused on another emo lad. What'd you think about it?
Your favorite character, man. Well, good episode. Animation's crisp. You can't. Demon Slayer is definitely still top tier as far as animations go.
For sure.
But I do feel very drug out in these.
That's
I feel like
fear that that's going to happen this season. Now they did a good job in the first episode of adding in some filler, but yeah, it's hopefully like from here. Like I knew that they had to get past this Giyu part, and you did too. Like we had to solve that. But now it should be some cool training, and maybe we'll get to see some cool combat maneuvers and breathing styles and the such. But
that's a good point. I think that I could.
Yeah, sorry, I was about to say something that I don't think we can say.
Oh yeah, we can't talk about future stuff.
No, but both of us are aware of the way this arc ends. I wonder if that's going to be last episode, or if they're going to hit that point sooner and then do maybe a little something after.
Maybe some anime only content like we've been wishing. Right. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say about this episode is my biggest issue is that you basically have two things happen. You have the first 5 minutes is just the last 5 minutes of the last episode, which felt like a big chunk of the episode just wasted on recapping something that we all already know. Right. It felt very One Piece-ish because One Piece loves to do that type of stuff. And then you take a scene that in the manga, I feel like would have only taken about 5 minutes, and you make it into a whole episode. I will say you did make a good point where it's like, we know what's going to happen in the rest of the season, so I do see this as probably just going to be the slowest episode.
Lowest point, yeah.
Yeah. So I do think the episodes after this could potentially be better, and I do think they will probably be better. But
supposedly we only have 6 more. This was going to be an 8-episode season, right?
Yeah. It's going to be real short.
Jeez. So that gives them, how many Hashira are there to train with? There's Wind, Serpent, Stone. Are they gonna train with the insect Hashira? Because there was that scene that we can cover.
Well, she did say that she wasn't going to be partaking in the Hashira training this time.
Yeah, and then she was like, "But I do want to tell you about the demon that killed my sister and how to defeat him."
Yeah, she was talking to her.
So there's going to be some showtime maybe in that regard with her. So I'm not sure, but yeah. So that leaves training with the other Hashira. So, and probably the Mist Hashira too. Maybe Mist, Love, Snake, Wind, and Stone. And then
all of them except for... it's actually all of them except for the insect Hashira. Plus, we also get... oh, God, what's his name? The Flashy Hashira. Why can't I think of his name right now? Tengen, there we go. I know his name, and I get just blanked out of my head. He's retired, but he's still there.
He is there.
But I will say, even though this episode did feel kind of slow, it was nice to finally get the backstory on Giyu and Sabito. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, I've been waiting to see this animated for a little over a year now. It was cool. It is touching. It's nice, and then you get to know more about Giyu's backstory with his sister, and we can get into his Haori, how he threaded them together.
I wanted to touch that. I wanted to touch on that last.
Yeah, we can touch on that last. What was I gonna say? Gosh, there was. I was about to say something, man, and then my brain went kaboom. Oh yeah. So I'm okay with like episode 2 or 3 being slow in an anime, because if you're building up to something, that's fine. I would not want this to drag out. Like imagine that this is like episode 7 or 8 out of a 12 episode anime. You're like, dude, we shouldn't be going slow at this point. And in my opinion, I think you can get away with it within the first 3 to 4 episodes. But maybe even episode 4, you should be ramping up your story.
Yeah.
I think you're going to lose people.
Well, we kind of touched on that when we discussed when we talked about solo leveling, because solo leveling was very similar to in that way, where like the first three episodes were pretty slow,
painful to get through.
Yeah, but once you get after those three, every episode is pretty solid.
I didn't send you that. I'm so happy you brought this up. This is a little side tangent.
Yeah, go ahead.
Solo leveling. I didn't send it to you because you don't play League of Legends, but I'll send it to you after this. Somebody took Sung and put him in League as a character with like what his abilities would look like. It's actually fire. I'll send it to you just because you will still appreciate the way it looks. Like it looks like his ultimate ability is him like dashing forward, like blinking forward, but he becomes Egress for a moment.
That's super cool. That's pretty
sick. I'm going to go ahead and actually send it to you right now since I'm here on my PC.
Well, I think we covered most of the stuff with Demon Slayer. The one thing I did want to touch was at the very end, if you watch till after the credits, they kind of built up this fact a little bit throughout the episode. But there was a cool fun fact where they were explaining where Gyu's Hari, I think that's how it's pronounced.
I probably said it wrong.
Yeah, Howdy, his jacket, his kimono, whatever you want to call it.
The pimp
where
coat.
it comes from. The
pimp coat, my boy.
The pimp coat, yeah. It was cool because they kind of set up like telling you, and it makes sense now. And when you look back at Sabato's Hari, and you're like, oh, well, that's half of Gyu's Hari. Where's the red come from? And we finally know because his sister saved him, and that's what she wore. That was her color. So he wears half of theirs because they both saved his life.
Traded their lives for his, and then Tanjiro hit him with the what is the exact wording? I'm not gonna get it. Like you have a responsibility.
Aren't you going to pass on what Sabato gave you? Yeah.
And it just shocked Gyu. It's cool. It's a
good episode.
Yeah,
but
I think I probably enjoyed this episode maybe a little more than you, just because he is my top two characters for this show.
Yeah.
So
I'll let you give your scoring first then.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember what I rated episode 1. I think it was a little. Where were we at on episode 1? Like 6 to 7, or were we higher? I don't think we were very high.
No, I think it was in the 6s.
Yeah, I think the highest I would give this episode would be a 5, but I think I am gonna go 4.5. Just because it was very slow, and you can feel it being drug out.
To be honest,
gosh, I don't know. Are you around that realm?
I was, to be honest, when you said 5, I was like, yeah, I'm about to go lower, and then you landed right on the number I was going to go for, which was 4.5. So
I feel cool with 4.5.
Yeah,
because that's not a bad score by any means. It's just on the lower end.
We'll need to do
below average.
We'll need to do an after-season review, too, and potentially get our...
do a manga comparison.
Yeah. But yeah, so official hop score, 4.5 for Demon Slayer.
Do you want to touch on Insect Hashira? No, you wanted to touch on the Haori, that was it.
Yeah, I already touched on it.
Okay. Yeah. I guess there's nothing. Oh, we got the intro song. We got the intro of this episode and the outro.
We did get the intro and the outro.
I thought it was pretty good.
No, but it's so hard to live up to the initial intro, which was just such a banger. Yeah, season 1 was a banger.
I actually think Swordsmith Village intro is my favorite out of.
Really?
Yeah, I just really like that song. And
it was
only the song, I think that the visuals are really, really good for that.
Yeah.
And gosh, while Swordsmith Village was not the greatest season, you just didn't know it at the time, really. So you're like watching, you're like, oh, this is going to be so good. Like you're building up this hype because they're going to this hidden village in the mountains to forge a sword that is going to clap demon cheeks. The build up, the hype there makes that intro even more hype. Man, Swordsmith could have been so much more of a banger than it was. You cannot do something that has the makings of being really cool, especially followed up from Entertainment District, which out of all of Demon Slayer so far was the best.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, so my opinion, the best. Next best, Mugen Train. And then I would say season 1 and then Swordsmith. I would rank it fourth.
I would say right now, like graphically, the anime like kind of peaked at Entertainment District and then has been kind of just slowly lulling out. And this season, I'm hoping is going to be where it like kind of plateaus, and then at the very end, towards the next season, that's when it's going to shoot back up, and everything's going to go back to peak again with the way that it was in Entertainment District. Because it's last season. It like, even though I think I like last season a little bit more than you, Swordsmith Village, I don't think I judged it as harshly as you do, but I do agree with you. It is slower than the previous season, but this season's going to be most likely even slower than that. Yeah. So
I am judging it more harshly. I think too, a big reason is that Demon Slayer was my favorite anime 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, to kind of see it just fall off a little bit, it stings. So yeah, I'm maybe being a little more critical on the critiques, but
yeah,
I'm sticking by it. This is gonna be cool this season. It will be cool. The way it ends is really cool, and then I think next season, so that would be season 5, is gonna be peak. We're going to have some internet breaking fights.
People are going to lose their minds.
And no spoilers. I'll never do that, but internet breaking fights. Do you remember when Upper Six fought Tengen? Do you remember what happened on the internet?
People lost their minds.
Well, there are some fights that are going to be better than that.
Yep. So I'm ready for it, man. Yep.
Cool. Well, so we got our official scores on all the episodes this week. I think my favorite episode that I watched this week was Kaiju, though.
Agreed. My Hero is a close second for me, just because we did get some interesting stuff in that episode.
Yeah.
But Kaiju was definitely the best out of all of these. For once, GoGo wasn't my last one on the list. GoGo may have beat out Demon Slayer this time.
Yeah. I think those are. I don't know. Kaiju is my favorite for sure. I can guarantee. And then probably My Hero second as well. I think it's a toss up for me for Demon Slayer and GoGo, but we'll see, man. I'm excited for next week. See where this journey takes us. You want to hop into some fitness? I don't really have any. Before we transition to that, we normally, just go freeform here. I don't really have a ton to talk about. We got MomoCon next weekend, so we got a busy week.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up
busy too.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up MomoCon. I don't have anything for fitness because I'm out of the gym for at least the next few days because I hurt my core somehow in a way that I've never ever hurt myself. So,
rest and recover, man.
I've got to. Yeah, I can't. So many compound movements require me to use my core, so there's no way that I can go in and risk hurting myself more.
Well, you can buckle down on your mobility, get some deep stretching in.
Yeah, yep. Which I'll probably do some stretching tonight, to be honest, just because we've been sitting in the chair all day.
Do you have a foam roller?
I don't, but I have some really good stretches to help with my mobility, even without one. So. But so MomoCon is next week. I did want to touch on that a little bit. I'll be traveling down to Georgia come Wednesday. I'll be down there, and then we'll be there for the whole weekend, packing up my stuff this week to come down and see Callie so that we can go hit stuff together.
Yes, sir. We're going to attempt a little in-person shenanigans.
Attempt, yeah. We need to look at if we can get the equipment we need in time.
I wonder too if, gosh, end of the day Sunday, like that might be when we hit a little recording. If we get the time to do it, I think it'd be end of the day Sunday.
Yeah, it would be the end of the day.
We could cover at least Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the podcast. We'd be going the next day too, but recording at the end of Sunday, I think, would be better than Monday. Well, we'll figure it out. Let's just see what happens. But we're going to be very busy, and we already struggle a little bit knocking everything out on. I wouldn't even say. I was going to say on normal weekends, but wouldn't even say the past few weekends have been normal. This weekend was super busy for me. Birthday weekend and a bunch of stuff going on. I got work stuff, real life stuff, and just need to get back above water.
It was Callie's birthday this weekend. Everybody drop happy birthday in the comments.
I'm an old man. Kafka and I are in the 30 club. So that feels good. No longer in the 20s.
So they do have MomoCon's schedule up right now. They have registration hours, programming panels, exhibit hall hours. They have some foam fighting convention. So it looks like they're going to have some like combat going on, manga library reading, and then AFK room out. So they do have some like availability stuff available. We'll need to talk more about that when we actually go to the event.
Mm-hmm. You really got to take it easy this week because this upcoming weekend is going to be a lot of walking.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot of walking.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess we will just report back soon. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's all I got this week too. We'll talk more MomoCon next week, more episodes, maybe some fitness, probably less fitness next weekend because we'll be doing a whole lot of MomoCon.
So we got a lot going on.
We'll get back into the fitness in June.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, that is it from the Hop Clan. See y'all next week. Peace.